Hello everyone, it's very good morning. Let me share my screen. Okay. In last sessions, so what we have done, so we have discussed about how to work with the AWS, and then we saw that how to implement a Snowpipe, right? The same options, so we are going to implement by using Azure and then GCP. So there is no change. Only the change will be, so when you are working with Azure or GCP, only account details will change. Remaining, the approach will be
Dinesh, I
the
have a
same.
question. So in the past,
Yes.
you have told Snowpipe is a serverless feature. So why is Snowpipe called serverless feature?
So whenever you are using that feature, then only the Snowflake, they will it will charge from the users whenever it is triggered. So that's it. So whenever it is idle, it will not be charged. Okay.
Okay.
So that's the main intention so behind that Snowpipe. Okay. So now, so let's come to this. Okay, just a minute. Okay. So before that, so let me come to Azure credentials, Azure, and then okay. Now, so let's come to this. So when you are working with Azure, so just observe the steps. This is the same thing. So they will create Azure, the team will create so all these things, and so here also we need to, what we need to do is we need to create an integration object. And when we create Azure integration object, so here in AWS, what we are going to get, once we create the integration object, so we are going to get external ID and then user details. The same way in the Azure, you will get Azure consent URL. These things we need to update. So after that, in IAM role, so we have to update the Azure, the tenant app name. These details we will get. These details we have to update in Azure, so multi-tenant app name. So in this IAM credentials, we have to go to IAM, and then so here we have to update. So these things again, so we are not going to do as a Snowflake users. So these things will be done by Azure team. So what we will do as a Snowflake so users, we are going to create a integration object. After that, so we will so access consent URL. We will implement this. So we will then so we are going to give the details, the account Snowflake name. We will give the details to the Azure team. They will update it. After that, approach will be the same. So we'll create a file format, stage, and then so we are going to load the data into so Azure. So from the Azure to our table. And so here, so when we are working with AWS, so when we created a AWS trial account, so what we have, so it's created around 1 year free trial version, right? But when it is coming to so Azure account creation, when we have created Azure account, so it will be not 1 year based on credit limits it is going to so take. So here around I think $200 credit limit, the limitation will be there. After that, so it will ask us to so pay for use. So then so here you can able to interact with Azure, but only the thing is, now observe this. So you have successful. So once it is created, so balance will be $200. After that, it will ask us to pay for use. So here also we require a so credit card details and then personal so details. So once we have given this, it will be activated. But only the thing is, it will not be like a free trial account for 1 year, 6 months. It will be a so $200 credit limit. Once it is utilized, then again, so you have to So use pay per use, then it will be charged. So that is the difference. So in between AWS and then Azure trial account if you want to create. Now I have created this account last 2 months back. So let me check. So when we logged into Azure account, this is the URL. So Azure URL portal.azure.com like console, and here you can able to see. So you can observe, see this one. So Azure storage account and then Azure Active Directory. Azure Active Directory. Here you are going to get in AWS we got the ARN, right? ARN details when you are creating integration object. The same way here Azure to directly you are going to get tenant ID. See this one. This is a unique ID. This tenant ID is the unique ID, and so this id we require to create an integration object, and at the same time so we are going to so like location, the location, so that will be available in, just a minute, let's come to the home, and then it will be available in a storage. Okay, it seems for this account free trial account has been expired. Okay, let me check this. But even though we can able to see that, so what is the approach and then how we can able to interact with the Azure. Now observe this. So free trial account has been expired, so it is asking to so pay as you go pricing model, pay as you go pricing model. Okay, so let it be. So we cannot able to see the storage location here. So but so Azure account we have created. So now so same way in AWS what we have done, we have a bucket, and then within the bucket we have a folder structure, and then so within the folder structure we have a files, right? The same way here also you will have a storage account. In this storage account you will have the details, you will have the folder structure. Within the folder structure you will have our files. Now just a minute, show you the steps. Let's take any one thing, this particular thing. So here, so first what we'll do is we will create a table structure. This is the common thing, right? So where we are going to do the same thing. So to create, so this is for, so let me take it for AZ. This is for Azure. We're creating, let me log into our admin account admin. Here also account admin. Now let's connect to the database. Now we have a table. Okay, now we have table structure here in our public schema. So next what we are going to do, we need to create an integration object, right? To create integration object, the same thing, observe this, the syntax will be the same, but if you observe, when you observe the integration object, create storage integration, this is the integration object name. So you can give the any name here, and then this is the same type external storage and storage provider. Previously we have given S3 here. Now what is the storage provider here? This is Azure, and then enable is true. This is same thing, and then here instead of ARN ID, AWS ARN ID, we have Azure tenant ID. So this is the unique ID, Azure tenant ID, which we are going to use it here. This is the Azure tenant ID, and then see this storage location is common. Storage location, see this Azure. So previously I have created this storage location. So but now, so due to the free trial account expiry, so cannot able to so access this now. So just observe this. Let's see so how to create an integration object. So now when you're creating integration object, the location and then tenant ID we have to give. When you give this, So storage, when we are creating integration object, the same way the integration object will be created. Processing about a duty. Just a minute. Let me check the tenant ID here. Copy. Same tenant ID. It is not allowing. Okay. Just me. Let me check. Describe. Okay, it is not allowing me to so create. I think I have to create a new account and then I have to so give you the details. Okay, so let me explain that what we have to do here in the Azure tenant. Here, once we create this Azure integration object, what will happen is we will describe the integration. When you describe the integration, so you are going to get so consent URL, Azure consent URL. That is nothing but so it will give you a URL. So that URL you need to give the access rights. You need to give access rights. These URL. So when you are giving here, so you are Snowflake, you are allowing so this particular Azure details, Azure account, and then this particular location. But the same way, so Azure also, so it has to allow our Snowflake account. So for that, it will generate a so consent URL here. Then we need to access.
Yeah,
After
Dinesh.
that, yeah.
Uh, Actually, yesterday I heard about some
Mm-hmm.
kind of dummy session sandbox type kind of thing in Azure.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is accessible, then we can use sandbox.
Mm-hmm. Sandbox also we need to create a account, Kumar. So
Oh,
without that we cannot able to.
okay.
Okay. So for the practice purpose, right, you are telling. So practice purpose, you can have to create account. Means that. So this is expired, it seems. Okay. So I will try to create a new one and then so I will show you. Okay, the same approach will be the same. There is no difference. So once it is created, we need to update these details in a IAM. So once we have the access, then we will create a file format. After that, we will create a stage area. So then we are going to so load the data by using a copy command. The approach will be the same. So only the difference is here what we need to do. So we are going to so you when you are creating integration object, so we need to give the Azure details here. So for the Azure, the same way for the GCP, so you need to give the GCP details here. So that's it. Remaining everything approach will be the same. Once integration object is created, so here we are going to update these details in the Azure account. So consent URL access, you will give the S. So you will access like just you will click the when you access this URL, you will just click the tick mark. After that, you can able to access that one. After that, so you will go here and then you are going to update it. So anyway, I will try to create a new account and then so we'll so come to this again. After that, we are going to create a file format, then create a stage area. After that, load the data into the link. So this is the approach. Now let's see. Let me try to access GCP, and then if we can able to work with that, let's see that. So I will try to. I will log out this Azure account. So can I do that? I think GCP also it will be accessed, but still we can able to access. So to my knowledge, GCP console. So we can use we can use our existing Gmail ID to create a GCP account, GCP console account, Google Cloud Platform account. So here also the steps will be, so here, so when you have the console account with the email ID, so we'll have a storage location, and so we can create a, so this is so to so load the data where we have the data. This is a bucket. Then once we have, so then we are going to create an integration object. Then once we create an integration object, we will get the details. So far, so this service account details, here the terminology will be different, that's it. The service account details you will get it once you create the integration object. Everywhere in AWS also, once we get the once we create the integration object, then we will get like external ID, and then so AWS user details. The same way in Azure also you will get a consent URL, and then the Snowflake account details. In a GCP also you are going to get the service account details when you create a integration object. And so one thing, when you are creating, when we are working with a GCP here, so every time, so what we are doing, so we are giving the location, and then at the same time we are trying to give the details, GCP details, right? The ID, unique ID, Azure tenant ID in place of Azure, in place of AWS. So we'll give the ARN details. But here, when you are working with GCP, so no need to give all those things. Now, observe this, how to create an integration object for the GCP. Create or replace storage integration. So GCP int. So this is a integration name, and then these are the common. Here storage provider we are giving GCS. When you come to this, you can see here. Just a minute. If you observe here IAM, and then this is for the identity and access management. This is for the cloud storage. So the same way. So in so our AWS. Here IAM, if you go to IAM, so you can able to see the details here. So this is the role, and then so here, so when you come to the bucket, when you come to the cloud storage, here you can able to see our the cloud storage details. Okay, so this is also it's okay. Billing is completed. So this is also around $200. So once it is completed, you can still use this GCP account, but you cannot able to so pick anything from here. It means you cannot able to so pull the data. So you can able to see the data within the GCP, but external things we can we can able to see the file here, right? In this particular folder, so in this particular bucket, sample so 231 bucket, in this CSV folder, we have one file here. Now we will try to pick this particular thing so from the GCP, and so we will load it into our Snowflake. Now to do that, so what is the first thing? So we need to create an integration object. To create integration object in GCP, what we require is just we need to know the path where your file is available, wherever the allowed location storage location is available. Now observe this, wherever file is available. So in this particular Snowflake, so 2 3 and then CSV. Just observe this Snowflake. We have another bucket. Let me check Snowflake 2 3. Then here we don't have any files here. What we'll do is Snowflake 231. We have a file here. So we'll try to so pick the same file. So now, so what is the path? So this is the copy path. Let's copy the path. And so here we are going to give the path details. Snowflake 231 CSV. So wherever file is available. This is the path. Now, the same way we are going to create an integration object. Here, when we are working with this, so no need to give your account details here. So once we create the integration object, so we are going to So give these account details for GCP access in GCP settings. Now the integration object is created. When integration object is created, when you describe integration, integration object name is this one. Now observe this one. Now this is the load location, and down you can able to see the service account details. This is our the account details it will generate. So when you create GCP integration object, this is the service account details. These details we will give it to the GCP team. Observe this AWS AP South 1 region. This is a unique account. It will be created for the account. So this particular account. So now once it is created, these details, so we will give it to GCP team. They will update it here in, but they will follow these steps to update. Let me show you. So copy service account. So go to the bucket permissions. Now observe this. This is the bucket. This is the bucket level 231, and then permissions here. This is the permissions, and then here, so it has to add role. You have to permissions, add members, new member, service account details. So add members. So here it is a new member. So service account details. Here we need to give. So here it is asking this service account details what we created. So by using integration object, what is the service account details here? This is the details. These details. Let's copy this and just right here. This is the service account details. See this one. So the service account details, then role. So we need to give cloud storage and then storage admin. That's it. Thing, right? Cloud storage admin, service account we have given. So that's it. So these details they will update it here. So once, just a minute, cloud storage and then storage admin, then save it. Updated policies. See this one updating. So policies has been updated. Once it is updated, then you can able to access in the communication has been created in between GCP and then the Snowflake. That's it. After that, what we can do is we can create a file format. Then we can create a stage area. After that, we can able to copy that. So but here, so we don't have the permissions. It means this billing is completed. So for the external things, we can able to see the data from here. But external things, when you are trying to create a external stage, it will not allow you to pick the data from this particular location because of the billing has been expired. Let's see that what is the process here. So what we'll do is, so here once it created, we can create a file format. We can create file format. So CSV format. This is fine. Now we created a file format here. Then we will create a stage, right? When you are creating a stage, let's come here. Create a stage. We are giving the integration object and then URL. URL is where your file is available. So in this CSV folder, so we have a employee1.csv. So this is 231.csv. So in this particular location 231, so we have, so in this CSV folder we have only one file, right? So let's give the complete path here. Sample CSV. Pick this. ECS location, and then this is the path. So from where it has to pick the file, external stage, and then it has to load it into this particular external stage area. Then this is the file format. Now when you create this, so you can able to see the stage has been created, and then if you observe the list, rate stage area, can able to see the file here. A file is available, but so when you observe, see this one, so last modified, it is long back, it is showing. So when the this one has been so uploaded here, see this one, it is so access the stage area. This is external stage, right? It's access the stage area and you can able to see the file. But the issue is here, so you need to copy that after that, right? When you try to copy, it will not allow you. So because okay, we didn't created a file for stay, we didn't created this structure, the table structure. So the file structure, what is available here, employee2.csv simple file we have taken here. So now we'll create a table structure. Now we have a table structure also. Now what we will do, we will use copy into table. This is the table, copy into table. So what is the stage area? This is the stage area, right? So this is stage area. So now when you run this, now observe this, check. See this one, access denied. So access denied. So because so of this issue. So this is a so account. So the but so you can use the same thing. You can utilize the things. So GCP you can able to see that. But because of the storage, so bucket this the billing has been expired. So that's why we cannot able to pull the data from the external stage and then we can able to load the data. So that's why it is telling that so access has been so this been so denied, but approach will be the same, there is no difference. So we are going to create an integration object here, no need to give any account details here, unique account details. Once you given this Azure sorry GCP service account will be created in an integration object. These service account details, so we will give it to the GCP team, they will update that. After that we will create a file format, the stage area, then we will so load the data into the table, so from your external stage. So the approach will be the same, there is no difference. So but in case of Azure, so what we need to do, Azure, so we'll have a tenant ID, we'll give the tenant ID here in a integration object. After that again storage allowed location we will give. In AWS also, AWS ARN details, and then storage allowed location we will give. After that everything is common. So whatever the details we are getting in integration object, we will give it to the respective team. It is so if it is GCP team, we will give it to the GCP team update. If it is Azure team, we will give it to the Azure team to update the details, or AWS. So it depends on the so which cloud platform. So from which cloud platform we are picking the files. So this is the approach. We have to be perfect in any one approach. Okay, so no any organization, any project when they're implementing, so they may not use so all the three. Any so one they will implement. So just so you need to explain the approach, what exactly so we are doing it here. We'll send these details. Okay, so now I will try to create a new Azure account. So it works. Okay, so with the same credit card details and then my email ID. So I will again, so we'll come to this and then I will show you so how exactly we can able to do that. And the most important thing, so let's come to data sharing. Here we have a concept of in our Snowflake data sharing. Data sharing. Before going to the data sharing, so just I will give you the brief idea what is data sharing, and everyone will get confused here. So what is the difference between, so why you need a data share? So now whatever, for example, you have a table here, you have a table in your so Snowflake. When you have a table, you need to give access to for specific user, for specific user. Then data sharing will come into the picture. Just to give access to the table or view, whatever it may be here. So let's assume that we have created these tables here. Now we have these tables there. We have a data. We have some data here in this JSON and then Pocket and then so CSV, whatever it may be. Now, so our intention is whatever the data we have here in this particular table, we need to give access to specific business users, specific users. Then data share will come into the picture. Why we need to do that? So we can create a another user here, and then we can assign any role to them. So for example, if you want to restrict the data, we can give only read only access. Understand carefully here. We can give only the read only access to specific user. Then they can able to access the data from whatever the table we are giving the access. Then, so just to share the data, why we required to create data sharing. Data sharing, what is the concept of data sharing here? So here, when it is coming to data sharing, so remember that this is not within your account, within your account. This is so based on account to another account. Account to another account means, for example, so this particular account, this is our Snowflake account, right? So when you have this particular Snowflake account, within this account, you may have, for example, let's assume that this is, so it's, we can take any particular project. So within the project, you will have a one account. Within this account, you can create so a number of users and then a number of roles. So like this, like analyst, business, and developer, and then we can assign this role to the specific users. That is fine. So that is within our account. Within our account. Suppose let's assume that so I want to give access to outside of our account. It means outside of our business. Let's assume that sometimes what will happen within the same like organization, you will have different modules. So different the billings will be there. For example, so let's assume so department wise, so HR, so they will so have separate billing, and then finance they will have separate billing. For the sales they will have a separate billing. So they are maintaining separate different accounts. The same way here, if you want to share it to the another account persons, for example here, I want to share whatever the data is available here in this table. I want to share it to you. When I want to share it to you, I cannot give another user. I cannot create a user, and then so I cannot give the access to my account. I can give, but what will happen? So you are so not working with our project. So I need to give the separate access to you only for the read only access. When I am giving that, so your billing and your responsibility is completely it is separate. If I create a new user within my account, whatever the user you are accessing the storage at the same time and then processing the computation charges, it will be billed for this particular account. It means, okay, let me give you with example. For example, I want to share one like document to you. Okay, it is a huge document. What I will do is I will create a Google Drive, right? I will so keep this document in a drive. Then so I will decide so what access I have to give. It can be a edit access or it can be a view access. Then once I have given this edit or view access, this is the access for that particular drive. So once I have given the access, then I can share it to your email ID, right? So this is so within my account I am doing, within my Gmail account I am doing all these things. So within my Gmail account I am so uploading the document so in a drive, and then I am giving the editor view access for that particular document, and then I am sharing it to your email. That's it. So my work is done. Now when you want to access that, so you should have your own email, right? And then you should have your own laptop, and then you should have your own internet access, and everything the resources is from your site, right? So you cannot come to me again. So give me your laptop, give me your internet. I have to access your so the document whatever you have shared. I can give it to you, but the so who is the so you are using my resources, right? We are using my resources. The same concept here. When it is coming to the data sharing, this is account level to another account. We are going to share your data, whatever the data is available here. If you want to share it to some other so users, then we can have a data sharing option. Here we have a share, right? So this particular sharing option we are going to implement. When you are implementing the data sharing, so remember that this is a account to account level. So if so I want to give, so within that, so I can give so access, I can give my, so for example, so uh, if anything is available in my so email id, if I want to give it to that, I can give my username and then password, my laptop, and then my so internet connection. So then everything is so chargeable for me. But here I am giving it to you. When I am giving it to you, so you are responsible for your so resources, right? The same way here, when you are data sharing, whatever the data you are going to share here, so it can be any table, any view, whatever it may be. You are not responsible for the billing of the data. It means the storage of the data, another account. Let's assume that so you have so departments related to, let's talk about regions. Okay, when you have the regions, each and every billing is different. Now, so we have a so data. Okay, let's assume that you have all the data in your this Snowflake account. Now, so we need to give this particular table to some other region persons. So for their reporting purpose. But so you should not be responsible for their billing. Then what you will do is from this region, you will create a data share for any specific table or any specific so details. When you create a share here, data share, we will used to call it as a data share. What will happen is so they will have so new account will they will have, and at the same time they will have so their own database, and then they will have their own virtual warehouse. They need to create their own virtual warehouse and then own database. And so when you are sharing, and at the same time, so who is the responsible for this particular data, from where you are sharing, from the regions, right? You are sharing the data. When I am sharing the data, I can control. So like same way, when I am sharing any drive the document, I can control, can you able to edit or you can able to view access, right? The same way, whatever the data I am giving, I can give read access or write access. I can give only read access or write access. So these controlling the data, the sharing, so we can able to do it by using shares here. You can able to see the icon shares, right? When you click on shares, and one more thing, when you come to the shares, right, this is only you can able to do it by using account admin only, by using account admin role only. If you observe here, we are a account admin here. Now let's change the role to some other role, for example system admin. See this one, we don't have access to the shares, right? We don't have access to the shares. Now so let's change it to account admin. Now when we change it to the account admin, now observe this, we have access to the shares. And so we have some terminology here. One is inbound, observe this, one is inbound, other one is outbound. One is inbound, other one is outbound. Inbound means if you are receiving something so from other accounts, then that is a inbound. If you observe, so we have the Snowflake database and then Snowflake sample database. These two things, by default, it is available in our account when you created a trial account. When you created a trial account, so this Snowflake sample data and then Snowflake, so these both the things available by default. Now, if you come to this worksheet, you can able to see this one, Snowflake database and then Snowflake sample database. These two are shared. Observe the icon here. These two are shared. It means these databases has been shared from other account to us, from other account to us. When you received these databases from other account, then we will call it as a inbound. See this one, inbound. So this is a source system, where from where we have received this from some other things. Then inbound. Outbound means if you can able to send the data to some other accounts. Outbound means, just so remember, inbound means receiving, outbound means sending. Receiving and sending, when you can able to send it to others, so you can able to share the data to others, then we will call it as a outbound. Here our account is provider and consumer account, both the things. So here in the icon, if it is a read only account, then you can able to see this icon in the below, you can able to see that is a reader, that is a reader account. But here what you can able to see, two things, one is inbound, another one is a outbound. You can able to create, another one is reader and so provider and consumer. Let's show it something. So it will be like this. Now observe this one, account to account level. This is account A, this is account B. Account to account, we are sharing the data. And so this warehouse and then data storage will be individual. What we are sharing, just we are sharing the table, so or the view, whatever it may be. When you are doing this, you will have provider and consumer. Provider means this account. This is a, when you have inbound or outbound both, then this is a, so provider and consumer both, provider and consumer. If it is only the consumer means nothing but reader account, you cannot able to see outbound for the reader account. You cannot able to see this outbound, you can able to access here. You cannot able to see outbound for the only the consumer account or reader account. It means they cannot able to share anything to others. They cannot able to share anything to others. So only they can able to receive. And at the same time, when you are doing this reader account, we can able to restrict. Once the reader account is created, billing and then processing charges will be applicable for that particular account separately. It is now nowhere related to our account. So the charges will be so applicable for them, whoever is using that account details. Okay, so like that we can able to control the billing. Suppose we may have so different for the same data, you may have the different region users will be there. So you can able to you can able to create a different accounts for the different users, different shares, and then so for their accessing, so for their things, so they are the responsible for that. Now if you observe here, so like this provider and consumer account, we can share the data at the same time, so we can restrict the data also. So when it is a consumer, so you cannot able to see this one, consumers, from the consumers we cannot able to share it to anyone. If it is a provider and consumer, then only we can able to share. Now if you observe this here we have a inbound and then outbound. Let's assume that so we need to share the data. For example, from here, where is our database? So let's come to here. So we need to share the data. So from so any one table from here, and then I want to share it to some others. Then what is the easy way? So I don't want to create an account. If I create so new user in my within account, then everything, so what another user, extra user will be so added to my account. So then the budget will be so for whatever the processing they are implementing, so it will be billing for us. Instead of that, what we will do is, now observe this, how to create a share account. So click on the outbound and then observe this, create, and you can give the name here. Just I am giving share, and observe the databases. You can select the database and just click on that public. You will select any one table here. Let's select this particular table and then apply. Now see this one, so it has created so the table, and so this table, and create. When you click on create, observe this, So this is the warehouse. Just to we need to view the data. What is the data we are sharing? So for that, preview data. So you can able to see, so what is the type of data we are sharing, and then what are the details we are sharing to the so other persons. So this is the just a preview. So once the preview is done, see this next, add consumer. Add consumer. When you click on that, see this one, what it is asking, is it a reader account or full access? Full access means provider and consumer both, provider and consumer. But most of the time when you are creating a share, remember, it will be a reader. It will be a reader account. Now this is a reader account here. Now if you click on this, so reader, so we don't have any reader accounts created. So let's create a new reader account. See this option, create a reader account here. When you click on this reader account, it is asking the name. I will give reader underscore test. This is the account we are giving. The command, let it be user also. We'll give the same thing, reader underscore test, then password, given the password, again giving the password here. Now see this one, create account option. So now what we are doing, we are creating a new user account. Like when you created a trial account, we have created a trial account. So by using the selecting the edition, so and all those things. But here, so just we are creating a reader account. When you are creating a reader account, so here just click on create account. Now observe this, it will create a URL here for our reader account. It will take some time, not much, so it has to display. Now observe this, so this is the ID, this is the ID, and what is your original account? So IQ02405, so AP South One and then AWS. Now let's see, this is the reader account, it has been created. This is the reader account. Now observe this, QI 87028, the same region, right? Remaining details is the same, because this is a just a reader account we are creating from our account. So what is the main intention behind this? So this is only read only access. At the same time, so billing is separated for this particular account, we can track it back easily. So which particular users is using, so how much of the amount. Now click done. Now what happened, just we created a reader account. See this one, reader test, and then so this is the account details. Now we have selected these details. What we are trying to do is, we are trying to so create a share, and then whatever the table we selected, we are giving that particular table access to this particular reader account. When you do this, when you click on add, now observe this, when you log into the reader account, what it is telling is, you need to log in as a account admin role, and you need to create a database, so from the share, so that you can data can be data consumer can access the shared data. So you need to log in with a account admin. So this is the by default configuration, it is done. So for the reader account, so what is the reader account here, the link, this is the link for the reader account, right? We have copied this link. Now just click on done. The reader account has been created. Now observe this, previously in outbound we don't have anything, only in inbound we have the details, so the shared by and then database. The same way here, outbound shared with, to whom we have shared with, to which account we have shared with, this particular account. And then what is the share name, this is the share name. And if you want to access this, now this is our original account. Let me log into another account, the reader account which we have created here. This is the reader account, right, which we have created here. Now click on this and come to the account, just execute this. It's not updated, it will take 1 minute.
Dinesh,
Let
one
me
doubt.
close.
You created
Yeah,
a new account, right? Instead of that,
Well,
can you assign it to existing account, maybe for my account like that?
yeah, you can do that. You can do that. Okay. Now observe this one. Now this is asking the username. So what we have done, reader test. This is the username, and then password I have given. This is the account for the reader. Now when you observe, this is a new account. So this is a, I'm a provider or I'm a consumer, it is asking. Right. So it's a dismiss this. Now if you observe, we have everything, and observe the icon here. What it is telling, this is reader. But our original account, if you observe, can you able to see any icon here? No, right? This is completely a so account, and at the same time this is a reader account. This is reader account. When you observe in the worksheet, we don't see anything. So now, so if you want to access this, we need to log into account admin role. When you go to account admin role, then only you can able to see the databases. Now if you come to the shares, see this, only inbound option is available. Only inbound option is available, secure share, and then outbound you don't have anything. Now at the same time, so this is only a reader account, you can able to see inbound, and so here we can see share, and then the who has been shared to us, right? This is the shared to us. This is the default thing for every account which you created. This is the default thing from the Snowflake, so they will give these details. Now if you want to access this particular account, we need to create a database. If you observe worksheet, we don't have anything. See this, we don't have any databases, right? We need to create a database, and we need at the same time virtual warehouse. We need to create a virtual warehouse, so for the access, right? So let's come to the share. Here, create a database. You can give any database name here. For example, we will give so db share, and so account admin, let's give it to account admin role, and then create a database. Now the database is created. Now let's come to the worksheet, sorry, worksheet, and then refresh it here. Account admin, let's change the role to the account admin role. Now you can able to see this one, db share. Now what is the icon here? Observe this icon, db share, right? And at the same time, if you observe this table has been shared, right? When you want to access this, now observe this, select star from this particular table, healthcare CSC. Let's execute this, place name in SQL. Now if you try to execute this, it will not execute because we don't have any warehouse. If you want to process this, if you want to execute this, we need a virtual warehouse for the processing, right? So let's create a virtual warehouse. Can give share. Now we have everything. Now let's come here and then select the virtual warehouse here, and let's try to execute. Now you can execute. And one thing here, when you created a share, here you will get so one certification question. So we have shared the shared on the shared account. You cannot implement any DML operations, any DML operations for reader account. It is restricted. It means, so this data, who is the owner of this particular data? This, the particular data owner is, so this particular account, right? When they are sharing, what they have done, they have given only read only access to us. What you can do is, we can just read, and then you can able to see the data. And at the same time, you cannot able to implement any DML. For example, if you try to delete from so this particular table, so let's connect to this particular database. Now we connected to this database and then this schema. If you delete from this particular table where, for example, let's take any value here. to 11. I'm trying to delete this total discharge is equal to 11 from this healthcare table. Now what it is doing, operation is not supported in a reader account. Any DML operations, it will not be supported in a reader account. Okay, this is fine. But then the certification, the question will be, they will ask, can you able to clone a table from a reader account? Clone a table from the reader account. Cloning means what it means by that? We are creating a new table from the existing table, right? Let's observe this. Create, sorry, create table, new, will give health, cloning from, what is the table? So this particular table we are trying to clone. When you try to clone, just observe this. So what is happening here? See this one? Creating a table on a shared database also not allowed. So what is the option they are having here? Only they are having an option to read the data, that's it. Whatever the data they are reading, the database it is storing, the storage area, and then the processing. So this account is the responsible for this billing. So that's why, so from one main account, you can create n number of shares. So based on the requirement. So there is no restriction. At the same time, the restriction is, so we can read, that's it, we can access, and then you can generate a reports. So but you cannot able to do any DML operations. You cannot able, you don't have the control to change the data which is available. So because, so if you give control to change the data, this particular data have given to a number of persons, right? So this can be shared to a number of persons. If you are so doing the changes here, then it will be impacted for also others. If you want to see the billing here, now observe this, this billing is separately. So the charges for this particular account. So this is, if you, so this is just, so we have created, right? You can able to see the billing information here. This billing is separate for the reader account, and then this billing, so your original account billing is separate for your original account. So this is nowhere related to our billing details. That's why we are going to create a share. Sharing means, so just keep it in mind, this is for account to account level, not within the account. Okay, that is nothing but a share. You can create a number of shares like this. There is no limitation. And then reader and provider we can create. If you provider, if you create a provider, so again, so they can able to share it to others. But the best practice is always when you are creating a share, we will give a reader account only. Observe the icon here. This is only a reader. And at the same time, if you come to the shares, you can able to see, so only, so one thing, inbound only. So you cannot able to see outbound. This is just for the receiving. That's it. Okay. So any questions here? You can see the question in the chart window.
Yeah,
Check
yesterday I tried to check the status of Snowpipe when I went through
okay.
documentation. So we have that query to.
In history, we can able to see this, right? Copy history.
Yeah, this is copy history.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. Thank you, sir. Will note it down here.
So you
Any
said that
questions
we
in this?
can add to new instead of creating new reader account, we can send it
Mm,
to existing one, right?
mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, how to do that, Dinesh? Maybe
Just
you
when you
can.
are adding here, okay, I will show. I will show you
Yeah,
something
you
else.
can share one
When,
more table to the
when you
same
are
reader.
when you are creating, say this. So here the secure name, for example, share to, and then you can use anything here. Let's come to this, any table. Let's take the table and create. This is fine. So this is the existing one we have taken. Sorry. Instead of creating, I'm using the existing one. This is the existing one, right? Which we are using. We can share it. Now it has been shared to the same account, same the reader account. Now observe this. We have two things, right? So this is a share two. This is a share one. Okay, just we will give the same sharing account, same reader account there. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Dinesh, URL is separate or same?
It will be the same.
Mm.
So one reader account, so one URL. If you
Mm.
create, if you try to create another reader account, then that will be a so separate URL.
Okay. So can we create by users and give the sharing like a class
That is
test?
within the account you can able to do that.
Mm.
Within the account, what you can do is, if you observe this here, this is within the account, right? So previously, when we are discussing about data masking policy, there what we have done, so we created a roles, right? And then we assign these roles to the users. The same way here, you can see that users, right? You can create a users here. For example, test user and then another uh, business user, whatever it may be. And then you can assign this user to the any specific role. Then so we can restrict only the read-only access. Then they can
Mm.
able to view the data. That is within the account. Then the
Okay, okay.
so whatever they are accessing, everything the billing will be related to us only.
Correct, correct. Yeah, Dinesh, like when we create for
Mm.
yesterday I created for JSON different bucket and
Mhm. Okay.
files and table. Okay, but copy command
Okay.
we need to give the as I have given the all parameters like a dollar one
Mhm.
and all. Then only
Okay.
it worked. Otherwise, directly it is not working.
Direct copy, it will not work for the JSON and Pocket files. Those are the
Mm.
variant data types, right? So it will
Yes.
not pick directly. So we need to convert into respective data types.
So even if it
That
is
is what.
snow pipe also.
Yeah, even it is no pipe also.
Mm.
We need to
Okay.
convert. So then only we can able to load.
Okay.
Dinesh, when I went through that documentation, I noticed that
Mm.
something like Snowpipe REST endpoints to load data. Do you have
No
any
pipe.
idea? REST endpoints.
Rest endpoints. I will check that, Sarvan.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, they're using AWS Lambda to get data. We are using S3, right? In that, there
Correct.
is some topic like integration AWS Lambda.
Lambda functions. Okay. Mhm. I will check that once.
Yeah, do we have any site to refer to practice these scenarios like that for Snowflake? And, Dinesh?
Snowflake documentation only, Sarvan.
Okay.
We don't get anywhere. So whatever we are discussing, right? The
Yeah.
everything I picked it from the documentation
Yeah,
itself.
no, that's not. But for
That
SQL,
is
we have
only.
some assignments right, to practice like that. Is there anything for Snowflake?
Uh, no, Sarvan. So till now I didn't find anything like that.
Oh,
Okay, so let me check on that also.
oh.
And so we have, if you aware of, have you aware of Snowflake community?
I went through it. Yeah,
Just you can so check there
yeah,
also.
yeah. Whenever I'm
Yeah.
getting doubt, I just checking in that community to
Okay, that's great.
get solution. Yeah, but the
Oh,
thing is, uh, uh, when we discuss the tables, right? Snowflake tables.
mm,
I
mhm,
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe at that time I just got like we don't have keys like that in Snowflake. But when I
mm.
went through documentation, we have primary key and foreign key reference
We can
everything.
create a referential case, but
Yeah,
it will not enforce us to maintain.
yeah, yeah.
For
Okay.
example, we can create a primary key, we can create a foreign key, that is fine. But
Yeah,
if you try to like insert duplicate records, right, it will allow in a
yeah.
primary key. Okay, that's the
Usually
main thing.
data
So what
warehouse
is
means the dimensional and fact tables, right? So that referential
exactly?
everything. Yeah, can you explain that
It's
concept whenever you have some free time? Because it's a
sure.
long time for me to retrieve that data warehouse related information. So maybe if you show something in Snowflake for us, it will be helpful.
Sure, Salman. I will check that.
Yeah.
So any other questions? Okay, guys. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.